This is a video about A-level coursework component 1. So this student has done a mind map. You can see she's done hers digitally. You can do it by hand. It's okay. It's up to you. How big is it? Not massive. It's got a fair amount of detail for options of what she could do in her project, but it's no bigger than around about A5-ish. And then on the front page here, she's done lots of good quality drawing, observational drawing, some secondary, but definitely some observation as well. For her, it's portraits, so that's what she's definitely focused in on. It's quite open-ended at the moment. She could be doing all sorts of different things with portrait, but she's just exploring the images. It's interesting that she's used different types of paper, which is nice, and she's also drawn with different materials, so with pencils there, a little bit of oil pastel, but also definitely some traditional graphite, tonal and linear drawing as well, which is great for the first page. So AO1, observational record. If we turn over, she's done some more record. She's actually recorded using clay, which is quite interesting. So she's done a 3D model based on features of the face, and she's photographed it as the examiner's light from different angles. Again, different papers coming in. She's drawn on brown parcel paper, drawn with a biro pen. Photographs are now starting to emerge, ink wash, white pen on black, chalk drawing, so all sorts there. As well as close-ups of features of the face, not necessarily the whole thing. So whatever your theme is, what could you close up and zoom in on? She's gone on to her third page here. Now she's starting to go into more depth, so it's AO2, kind of really exploring more. She's gone into a little bit of digital art, and she's shown how she's done it to a certain extent. And she's taking the same drawings that she did before, but doing them in new and interesting ways. So exploring, there's a little bit of artist influence coming in early on, you can see here as well. And still a little bit more AO1, so she's got evidence, this is her actually, Aisha, that she's evidenced that this is me. I've drawn it from a photo that I've taken myself, or had somebody take for me. Okay, turning over then, we're on to now page 4, so we're coming towards the middle of the project. She's definitely now going very seriously into artist influence, so she's got some good annotations there. This is the original artist's work, so she's put that on very small, about 3 by 4 centimetres, but then she's explored it in very interesting ways. So look, that artist's work, that photo of her friend, and this new Aisha artwork in the style of the artist who uses lines. So that's fantastic. Very good practice when you put photos in yourself to do a contact sheet of all the other poses you took before you decided on that one. Zooming in and close up, and again look, she's drawn here on 3 different types of paper, a buff colour, a kind of creamy colour, and then black with white. So really doing some interesting thing with drawing. So AO1 is really strong. She's got some AO2 and 3 already coming in. She's really cracking on with AO3 here. The artist's influence, critical and contextual studies. So she's looking at cultural different ways of presenting the portrait. Really interesting presentation on the page. She's not forgetting to put the original artworks next to what she's done. And look, she's not just totally copying it. She's looking at the style, the mark making. And then adding her own little touches. So this one here, this man with the turban, she's done it, but she's added these kind of fragments because that becomes very important later on in her project. And also cracks in the face become very important. So now we're on to page 6. We talked about cracks. She's done this interesting picture of a person with their face being cracked like eggshell. And we discussed going back and sourcing that as direct observation. So she's gone back to AO1 on page 6, but that's very usual and very good practice because it's showing she's sourcing her own images which are going to help her put detail into her work. So she actually cracked an egg in the classroom, took loads of stunning photographs of it, and then that influenced, look, she's done some drawings in chalk here which are lovely, and that influenced the way that she's gone back and really made that face look cracked, which is excellent. Now that took her mind into other things, so when we're talking about developing ideas, she then decided actually what about cracks as in cracked, shattered glass? So obviously you need to do something like this with care, but it's evidence of taking one idea and developing it into the next. So this is a watercolour study and obviously her own photographs there. So this is really important for her final piece. And then, planning for the final piece. She did it in quite detail on one page, but you might want to go on to 2 pages to really do it justice, although, she has done it well. What do we see here? Well, we see some thumbnails. She has actually put colour in her thumbnails. You don't have to do that. But what is important is they're like modifications of the actual final piece. So if I just show you her 6 thumbnails here, and I'm going to quickly whiz to her final piece and then I'll come back to this page. So that was her actual final piece. So you can see it's a really good improved version of her thumbnails. But in between that stepping stone, she's done some other things. So she's drawn onto photographs, done some more collecting of images, explored how she could put this together. She could crack it like that. She could crack it like that. So this is like an enlarged final piece, concept idea. And then she's actually done a miniature final piece. She did it in gouache, I believe. And then her actual final piece. So she got an A star. She's followed all the assessment objectives, AO 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope that helps in your putting together and mounting your final prep boards and final piece.